Hey everyone, welcome to the next part of my NEXTJs13 course. Now in this part we are going to create our login and sign up model. So now if I click in this login or sign up button, nothing happens. So if I go back to the original and here if I click on this login button, as you see we get open a login model. Also, if I click on sign up, as you see we get a registration model where the users can register themselves. Now to create this model, we will be using Material UI5. Now let's go ahead and see how to create this beautiful model and also Material UI tabs here. So for this, I'll go ahead inside the browser and here I'll type MUI.com. And from here, you can just click on get started and you'll get all the options available for you, or you can just directly search from here. Now here I'll just search and I'll say I need the model. So I'll just press the enter, and as you get here you get a lots of examples on how models are working and how they look if you use them. So there are lots of them. You can just check it yourself for your purposes. So everyone needs different type of model, but for us it's enough to use this basic model. So to use this, I'll just click on this show the full source, and here you can use TypeScript or JavaScript. So I'm not using TypeScript, that's why I'll be using JavaScript here, and then you can just copy everything. And then we'll go back to the VS Code. And from here inside our components, I'll create a new component. So here I'll say it will be login register model, something like that. You can name it anything you want. So login register model.js. And here we need to create this login register model component, but as we got the code, so we can just paste it here and then we can rename it. So it's basic model, but we will say it is login register model, like that. So now to open the models using these buttons here, we need to send everything as props. So let's see what I mean. Now here I'll come back here and I'll just copy these three functions from here and also the React state. So I'll just cut off everything and go inside the navbar and paste them inside my navbar. So like that here. Now we need this React, so instead of this I'll be just using the use state. So I'll import the use state from the React, so like that, and it will import the use state from React. So it's imported and I save it. And after this, inside this login model, we got these two functions which will just call this model. So it is open and also on close. Now to use or to change the value of these functions, we will be using the props. So we need to pass the props here. Now I'll say props, and here instead of this open, so here I'll say props.open and also props.handle close. So these will come from the props which we'll be using inside our navbar. Now let's save this, and for here I think everything is done. Then we'll go to the navbar, and from here we'll search for those options. As you see, we got this open state and also set open, and also we got two functions which is handle open, which just sets the open to true, and also we got the handle close function which sets the set open or this open state to false. So it will just change the value of this state here. Now to change the values of these functions, we need to use a functionality of on click inside our buttons. Now for this we got two buttons here. So here we got this sign up and also we got this button, so which is the login. Now for this I'll just say here on click. So if someone clicks on it, and this should just run this function for me. So here I'll say just on click use the function of handle open. So it will just trigger the handle open, which just sets the open to true. And also we need this on click inside the sign up button. So I'll just copy it from here and paste it here also. Now whenever we click on these buttons, it will just open or just set the value of the open state to true or false. So for now it will just handle open, so it will set the value to true, and we need the handle close also, but for this we need to import our model. So now here I'll import the model also. So here I'll say import. Now we need the name of our model, so it is login register model. Now it's imported, and then we need to use this as component. Now for that I'll be using this just at the end of our app bar here. So I'll just use it like this, and it will be self close. So like that. And here we need two props, and the first prop is open. So the open should take some value, and the value of this will be our open, so it will be our open state which we are using just here. So I'll show it here. So we're using this const open, so this state will be at first false, but if someone click on handle open, it will just set this open to true, which will show up the model. So and then we need the handle close, so handle close, and it will be the same name, I think. Yeah, so it is handle close, so it will just call the handle close function which will set the open to false. Now we are done, so let's save this one, and we'll go back to browser, and here it says handle open is not defined. So let's see what's the problem. Now for this I'll go back here and search for this handle open. And as you see, we got a handle open once and twice handle open like that. It is here, but inside the nav or top or inside our login, let's see, it says there's no handle open. And that's true because we don't need this button anymore here inside our model, because we are using the same button inside our navbar. So let's just remove this from here and save it, and we should see no error anymore. And now as we click on this login, you can see we get our model. The same way, if I click outside of it, it will just close. So I'll click on sign up, it will open this, and if I click outside, it will just go out. Now we got our model running, so let's go ahead and create the tabs here and also all those fields and design everything for our users. So now for this we'll go back to the VS Code, and here we need to design everything. So now to change the model, first of all I'll make some changes in that style which we are getting from Material UI. Now you can call this style, but I'll call this model style, so it should be specific just like that. And then of course we need to use this. Now you can use the styles of Material UI also like this. So sx is equal to, and you can type the style name, or as usual you could use just remove everything, and this will be model style. So this way it will work also. Now for now I'll be using this way again because it's something new, so you learn this also. Now we got this. Inside this model styles, let's make some changes. So as I did this before, for top here I'll say it is 48%. From left it will be just the same thing, and the transform also will be the same thing. But of course if you want to make some changes, you can just go ahead here and change everything as you want. But here I'll be removing the width because the width is for me too small. It should cover almost the half of a screen. And also the background.paper is okay. And also I don't need this black color of border. Instead of this I'll say it will be white, or you can just remove this. Then we got this box shadow, it will be just the same thing, and also this padding of 4, it's just okay for me. Now I'll save it like that, and if we go back, now if I click on this, as you see we got everything centered and there's no black lining here. Now let's go ahead and bring our other tabs inside this so we can fit everything inside a good width. Now here we got our model and then our box. Now inside this box you find everything or all other components. Now let's remove this from here, and instead of this components here, we'll be using the tabs from Material UI. So for that, we'll go back to browser, and here we'll search for tabs. And as you get here, you can find a lot of tabs here which you can use for your projects, but for us the basic one is enough. So let's just copy everything from here. So you can just copy that like this, and we'll go back here, but I'll paste it first of all down here so we can use the things which we need and remove what we don't need. So we need all these imports from here. I'll just cut out everything and paste them here. We don't need this button here, so let's remove this like this. And then we need here this function. So you need all this function and also these props. So I'll be using this and function tab panel. I'll just cut out everything from here, and then we'll paste this just above our export like this. And then we need all these returns, but before that we got these two functions. So let's cut them out from here, and we'll be using this inside our login model. So login register model, and then what we need is all those tab panels. So we'll need this box from here. So I'll cut out this box and paste it inside our model style box like this. And then what else we need is the tab panels. So for this we don't need any box, so I'll be using two of them. You can use anyhow you want. So now we can remove everything from here so we don't get any error. And after this box we'll be just pasting everything here. Now here, instead of item 1, I'll say it is login or sign in. So it's login, and the second one will be sign up like this. Now we got everything, so let's save this and let's see if we get any error here. Now as you see, we got already some error because it says import all as React from React. So this way it's not working. I don't know the reason, but this is also a way of using React. But for now, let's remove this and just use the user state directly. So I'll say here import user state from React instead of everything. So here I'll say use state like that, and it will import this from React. And we got the box twice here, so we don't need this. Let's remove this also, otherwise we'll get some error. So now let's save everything, and also now it's complaining from the typography, so let's remove the typography from here also. Now if it's working, so let's go back and see the result. Now as I say login, now as you see we got all our tabs here. So item 1, item 2 and item 3. Inside item 3 we got nothing, so that's why it's showing just an empty one. So let's remove this. So now here I'll just search for 3, so we'll get the 3, and there we go, we got the tab label, and this is 3, and this gets the aliprops of 2. So let's understand first of all how these tabs are working so the beginners don't get confused. So first of all, if we go back, we provided, or we have just copied a function, and this function has some constables, value, index and all other props. So everything will be equal to props, which will get inside this tab panel. Now this tab panel will be used inside our box or anywhere we want. So tab panel, and this will get some props. So these props are value and index, for example, and they are coming just from here, value, index, and the rest will be the children. So let's see how it's working. Now then we return a div, and this div has a role of tab panel, and then we got a statement here. So if a value is not equal to index, so it will not appear, so it will be hidden. And then we got some ID for this and area label. So these are just normal things, and the others means all other props which we can include here. And then we define if the value is equal to index. So if it's equal to, then it will use this box with a SX or some CSS of padding of 3, and it will use a typography, and then inside there's the children of that. The children means now our data which we are giving here. So it's here. Now we are giving all the data inside that. So it means now if we remove this one, so if we remove it, we don't get it anymore because we don't have any tab for that. But if you want to create more tabs, for example 4 or 5 tabs, you can just copy paste everything, name it different, and also remember you have to use a new index for them or a new number. So here index 1, 2, 3 like that. Now let's remove this. We just need 2, and the first one we call this login, so like that, and the second one will be our sign up button, so it is sign up like this. And also we will put all those data and design which we want for these tabs here, but for now we'll just save this one and we go back, and here as you see we got just 2 tabs, login and sign up, and nothing else. Great. Now let's add our data also inside them. Now from here on it will be just easy because you have to just define your form as you want. So for me now I'll create the same way as Bill Gates' website. So let's go ahead and do this. For this I'll create first of all a styled box. So I'll go back here, and after this modal style, or let me just copy everything from here or just cut it from here. So we got our functions here up, but our styles should be just near our component because we'll be using this all the time. So here I'll say const, and this will be styled box. So I'll call this styled box, or you can call it anything you want. And this will be styled, and also I'll say it's a box, and here we'll be using our function just as normal, and this will be just display of this should be flex. You can use also the grid, but for here I'll be using the flex. So flex direction of this will be also row, so flex direction, and this should be row like that. And we'll save this just like that, and here now I'll be using this styled box. So we'll go back here. So here inside our tab panel we'll be using that, but of course we need to use this as component like this, and we'll be closing, and it's not self-closing so it should be opened like this. And inside this we'll be using our other box. So I'll create a box for our data. Now here I'll say box, and the flex of this will be just 1 because we are using flex box and parent, so we can define the flex here like that. And inside this box we'll be using our typography, or if you want to use HTML, H1 or any kind of text you want. So here I'll be using typography. So, and I'll say the variant of this will be just H4. And if you're new to my channel and don't know about Material UI5, I have already created a beginner friendly course, so please watch that first and then join this course. So here I'll just close this, and inside this we'll be pasting some text. So let me just paste some text here. So welcome back coder, and also I'll be using some more typographies. Now instead of typing everything, I'll just copy paste everything so we can save some time, and inside this box I'll be pasting them also. Now there's nothing special here. We are using the variant of body 1 because it's some paragraph here, and also I'm using some break lines, so I'll get some margin from those from up here. You can of course define some SX and also define some margin top, and that will work the same way. And we got this one, and for the next tab we will be using the same thing, so we get some box. So let's copy this one and use this also here like that, so we don't need to type everything. And of course here we don't need the text, but we need our form, so let's remove everything. Now we got box. I have removed the box also, so we just need to remove all those components, and now here we'll be using some text field. So on Material UI5 we are using text field as input. So for every input we need a text field. So here I'll say text field, and then we can give it some ID, or we can just go ahead here, and here I'll search for text field, so something like that. And then you can see there are some text fields which you can use. So I'm using the standard one. I have to copy everything from here, and then we can use it inside our code. Now here I'll just remove the two of above. You can design it anything you want. Now let's import this. It's very important to import this, otherwise you'll get error. So text field from Material UI5, it's imported. And as you see, we get this ID standard basic, or you can use the outline basic, whatever you want. So here I'll say the ID of this should be outlined basic, and the label should be something like email address. And then we need the variant of this, not standard, but should be filled. Now these props are all available in website. So if you scroll down, just all the way down, you'll get all the props here for input, for text field, for anything you need. So if you click on text field, you'll find out everything about text fields also. Now let's go back, and here what else we need is the width of this. So I'll say it will be just full width like that. And also I'll need everything for password, but for this I'll just copy some text here. So because I don't want to type everything over and over again. So it's text field, we give this some different ID, and the label of this will be password. The type will be password because if someone types something, so the other users or the other peoples couldn't see that. And the variant the same way, filled, and we get the full width. Here I have also defined some SX, some CSS, so we get some margin from the top here, margin top and margin from the bottom, like that. Now let's save this and see the result, and after that we will continue. So let's go ahead, and here we haven't imported the styled, so let's import the styled from Material UI. So import the styled, and remember, don't import this from emotion styled or MUI system. Import this just directly from MUI material, like this. Save it, and if we go back, now it's loading. So if we click on this, now as you see, we get this welcome back coder, thank you, blah blah blah, and that's it. We don't see our text inputs here because I have put them inside the sign up. So let's bring them back. Now let's go ahead here, and I just made a mistake here. I'll just remove them from here, and inside our styled box I'll import this also. Now as it's flex, it will be just in a row. Now as you see, we got everything perfectly designed for us. Now as I have removed the width from this model, it's just adjusting itself as we want. Perfect. So now let's see what else we need here. So if I go to login, here we need a button, and also we need these social media icons and some more text. So let's do this also. Now for this, I'll go back here, and here after this text field, we need a button. So let's import the button also from Material UI. So MUI material button, and we'll be using that here. And also for this, we need some SX. So we can design it as we want. So I'll say SX, and here we can define our CSS. So I'll say text align of this should be something like center, like that. And also what we need is a background color. So it will be background or background color, whatever you want. So I'll say just background here. And for this, I got some blue color. So for this, I'll be using some text here. So I'll copy it. You can use color of your choice, but I'm using this blue here. So like that. And then I'll say the color of this. So the text color of this should be white, like that. And it will be white, not wheat. So save it, so we get everything indented. Now here I'll say the width of this should be something like 300, just it's like 300 pixel, like that. And then we need a padding, so I'll give it padding from everywhere, and it should be 1, like that. I'll save that. And of course for the button we need some text here, so I'll say here login, so if they click on login they should be logged in. Now if we go back here, now as you see we got this login button. Now here also we need after this some more text, so it will be just some typography, so I'll just copy paste it here like that, and I get 2 line breaks. And the variant of this is body 1 because it's also something like paragraph, and it says or log in with your social account here. Now after that we need our social accounts. Now to use the social accounts as flex and also as a row, we need to use the styled box again because it's a flex box for us. Now for here I'll say styled box again and just close it, and inside this we will be using our social buttons here. Now to create the social buttons there are many ways, but here I'll create my own social box, and inside that I'll put the social buttons here, and inside this I'll put my social icons. So here I'll say const and I'll say social box. It should be capital, so social box, and this should be equal to styled again, and this is of course a box. And also here, before using that as a function, we need some props so that we can define different color for every icon. So here I'll say like this, you'll say my bg color, or you'll say social bg color, whatever you want, like this. And then we'll be using this as a function, so let's make this function like this. And as we got this, so we need to use our curly braces. Here we'll say background like that, and the background will be my bg color because this will be our prop, and this way we can define different color for every social box we use like this. And then I'll give it some padding, so padding from everywhere like 4, and also I'll say text align here, so it should be something like center. Then we got width, so width of them you can choose your choice, of course. Here I'll say 16 pixel or 60 pixel, and then margin left, so it will be margin left, and this should be just 1, so we get a margin from the other social icon there. And the cursor of this, as they point them, so should be a pointer, so pointer like that. And then of course we need to copy this and use it. So let's save this one, and we go back down here. After login and typography, we'll be using our social box inside this styled box, so like that. Of course you can name it anything you want. I just want to make everything very clear so you understand what I'm doing. So now inside every social box we need an icon. So here for example we'll be using the Twitter, so let's see if I can import this like that. Yeah, so if you type Twitter, it's importing from MUI icons material, as we installed this already. So, and I'll say SX, so we change the color of that because we'll be changing the background color. So here I'll say the color of this should be something like white, like that. And here, now let's close this one so we don't get that error. And here, as we defined my bg color, so we can define some color here for our social icons. So here I'll say the color of this will be something like light blue because Twitter is like that, so light blue. And then I can just copy this one for Facebook also, like that. And here the Facebook color will be something like blue because it's something dark. The color of that will be also white, but here we don't need Twitter anymore, but we'll say it will be Facebook. So Facebook from MUI's icon, I have imported this and save it. And now if you go back, you'll see it says box is not referencing. So social box, styled box. So let's see what's wrong here. Okay, we got the small letter or the lowercase. We should use always the uppercase. So styled box, and we got social box, and we are referencing this as box. So like this, save it, and this should be removed. Now it's gone. So now as you see, we got everything, and here we got our beautiful icons. So it's light blue, and the background of this is blue, and everything is looking great. And what else we need here is just a background image. So let's do this also. So for that, let's go back to VS Code, and here, as we are using our styled box in this display of flicks, now what we could do is that we can define a background image here, but the problem is for every tab we need different background image. So that's why I'll be using everything as SX. So here I'll go here for our first or 0 tab, and here I'll say SX is equal to. Now instead of typing this, let me paste this also. Now here I'm using SX, and I'll say background image, and I got this URL of background image. You can use any image you want. So, and after that I have defined the background size as cover. So if I just save this one like that, and if you go back, as you see, we got this beautiful image here, and everything is looking nice. Now what else we got here is that this login and sign up buttons should be on right and not left. Now for this, let's go back and take care of that also. Now here we got our model and then our model style. So after this model style, we are getting some box, and here we got border bottom of 1 and also this border color of divider. But after this, we'll be using a display of flicks. So we get everything in the right side. So here I'll say flicks, and after that we can say that content should be justified at the end. So justify content, and I'll say the content should be justified at the flex end. So flex, and you can say end. So this way this will get in the end. So save it, and if we go back, as you see, we got everything as we want, but here we got nothing. So that's why it's looking small. Don't worry about this, we'll do this in a second, but for now everything is looking gorgeous. So let's go ahead and take care of the sign up panel also. So for this, let's go back, and here we will go just inside our next tab. So we got first tab, and the next tab panel is just here, and inside this we got nothing. So let's go ahead and take care of that also. So everything will be almost the same way as this tab panel here, because we'll be using the styled box, we'll be using the social icons, and everything will be almost the same thing. So let me copy paste everything instead of just typing, because it takes just your time. So I'll just copy the first part here, and I'll explain you everything. So first of all, what I did is I used the styled box, and inside this I just used the background image as the above, but the image is a little bit different, or the same image. You can use any image you want. And after that, I have used a typography with a variant of h4 as just above, and I'll say become a subscriber, and then we got typography, and the variant is paragraph and some text here, and also after that already joined and some typography here also. And after this, we'll be using the same way another box. So let me paste everything here. So now after this box, I'll paste it just here, and our style box is also closed. So we are in this box here. So we got this. Now for this box, as the above, I set the flex of 1, and then I have used a typography of variant by the 1, and I said use your social account. Of course, you can type your text as you want. Then after this I used the styled box, and the same way the social box, and side there's a Twitter, so everything is copy pasted. But the only difference is here the inputs, which we get something else. So it's also the same thing. I'm using the styled box because it assigns the flex design for us, and then we have defined our text field here. Of course, a new label, so here I'll say first name and some new ID, and the variant is filled. And then we got some SX here, the same way for password, and we got for email address, for password, and we got for country, and then we got the button of sign up as just like login, so we can type sign up, so everything is copy pasted, and that's it. It is just copy pasted from the above. So let's save this, and if we go back, as you see, we got everything as we want, but we can't see the icons here, so let's see what's wrong. And if we go back here, I have already used the Facebook, so it is not imported from Material UI like this. So let's just copy everything from the above so we can see them. So here is the Facebook, and then we got no color there, so we have to define some color also. So I'll just copy these two from here and paste them just as the others. So social box, so bottom social box like that, and save it. And if we go back, as you see, we got those also here. Now everything is defined for us. Now it's looking perfect for me. So guys, that's it for this part. So for the next part, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the thumbs up button. If you got any kind of problem, use the comment box for that. See you in the next part.